Niall, thank you very much for backing our campaign. It's really good to be able to count on your support. The club's reducing ticket prices. Can you explain why, please?
Well, we sat down several times at the executive board to formulate a policy for next season. It seemed every time we sat down over the Christmas period and through January there was more bad news coming out of the region, and we felt we had to do something that would somehow keep the football club in people's lives and keep the priority that it is at this present time. And so we knew that adults are under serious pressure, that parents were under pressure, and we thought, well, okay, how can we make it doubly interesting for them, that we can keep them, reduce the prices, but can we also see if they bring a young person with them, which again will have long-term benefits for us, will increase our fan base, but try and make it that when people are making decisions in their life now because incomes are being reduced, and we understand how difficult things are, that we would be up there and that we'd be able to shout that they'd come and still support the club. And luckily it's come at a time when we have an owner who's very much supportive of this, and I suppose the reality is it wants atmosphere at the stadium, like I do, being a football person, above sort of keeping the prices high and the numbers dwindling. So Sunderland fans have been phenomenal in the past at backing their football club through very lean times, and now we're asking them to do it again, but we're trying to do our bit to try and to pitch it at the right point where they believe it's correct and that they will come and support that. So while other clubs do things differently, and it's not for me at all to say, we're hoping that we can buck the trend and that we'll actually improve our numbers for next year, never mind sort of hang on to what we have.
Okay. And how supportive of this idea has the owner been?
Been fantastic. Ellis met us a couple of times about this, and had a look at all the options, and I suppose really what we're trying to do is get more people in, and perhaps the same amount of money as we thought we would have got in a normal year. That would be fantastic. It means Ellis will have a few more quid for players. He doesn't know that yet, but that's the way it'll probably work out. But in fairness to him, I think he understands the passion up here. He knows what it's all about, and he is more than happy to underwrite it if it's a difficult year for people and we can't quite get to where we need to be. He will underwrite the difference, and we won't have that much of a problem from day to day running the club, but it just means it'll impinge on the amount we can probably spend on transfers.
Okay, and do you think that if your plans to sell more season tickets through this policy is successful, that will help you hang on to top names when bigger clubs?
Absolutely. I mean, we see that sometimes where you are with any kind of business, I guess, but certainly with us at a football club, we could be preparing ourselves for a hit next year and batten down the hatches and say, okay, we really have to do things in a different way, and the expansion that we made in the last 3 years we'll have to step back a bit. But the good thing about Ellis being involved is that's not true at all. We understand that people it's a difficult time out there, but we still want the club to be in full throttle, and that means is full attendances, and what that means to footballers and players is that they're coming to a club that's booking a national trend. So that's what we're trying to say. Look, our club is expanding. We've got great strength behind the scenes. We now have a fan base that put us at the top of their list in the world's worst recession in living memory. We think as well. Obviously, if we finish strongly enough in the Premiership, that we'll have we'll have another level of player to come. Maybe 2 or 3 players that might come that maybe wouldn't have done last summer. So we can keep the relative progress that the club has made over the last 3 or 4 years in terms of the policy of signing players and moving on and trying to upgrade all the time. So it gives us an opportunity to do that if the fans come in big numbers, and we like to think we've pitched it well, and Ellis has been hugely supportive.
Okay, so how committed are you to keeping hold of your top name players?
Well, I think you see if there's any sort of people worrying about the club, and a lot of clubs are in a perilous state at the moment. The fact that we turned down an astronomical amount of money for Kevin Jones, with sort of the guarantee and with various appearances that he made them over the next few years at Tottenham, we were getting the guts of £20 million from him. That would have been very easy to take, and Ricky could have been told to batten down the hatches and see if you could keep this club up. But our owner was having none of it. It was the exact opposite. He wanted to send out a different message. That the club aren't here to sell their best assets. At this particular time, the club needs to be improving their assets, and we need to keep the belief going. And obviously, the season ticket prices falls in. When you start wrapping everything around, what happens to this team, the journey is still going the right way for us.